Welcome to another ICP update. Like always, make sure to check out our YouTube memberships and our Patreon if you want access to all of our charts and if you want access to our daily Discord updates, and I hope you enjoyed this video. So in this video, I want to talk about multiple things. First, I will talk about QE and QT, then I will look at Bitcoin dominance, then I will look at the Ethereum chart, most likely, and then I will look at Bitcoin, and I will also talk about ICP and what ICP is doing right now. We just had a cross on the bull market support band on this chart, and that's not really good because the red line is about to go, above the green line, and this could mean that ICP will just do absolutely nothing for the next couple of weeks. And this actually makes sense because the Fed meeting is in like 6 weeks and we are still in QT and at the end of the day. So yeah, there's a chance that ICP just goes sideways, and the fact that we had a cross right now, I mean, this pretty much tells us that we are about to do absolutely nothing for some time, so you have to be prepared for that. And if that happens, Bitcoin dominance will most likely continue going higher. And yeah, ICP is still in a 1-2 setup right now. We have an ABC structure of the second wave right here. We got another low. We pretty much invalidated everything. We got to the 0.618 support level again for like the third time. And yeah, we reacted to it, but there is a chance that we get another low, and that could put us somewhere here, let's say at about $5. I don't really want to see it happen, but it's possible, and you have to be aware of that. Keep in mind the other support level and the last support level is at about $4.33. So if we want to stay bullish, even if we get another low, we have to stay above this low right here. Well, actually this support zone right here, because if we don't, it's likely that we invalidate the 1-2 setup, and I'm sure not many of you want to see that right now. So yeah, we need to stay above $4.33. And like I said, there is the potential that we just go sideways for like a couple of weeks, about 6 weeks, until the next Fed meeting when we hopefully start QE, and then ICP can finally get the third wave right here. Now keep in mind, the minimum target for the third wave is at about $150. Now I think that's unrealistic right now, so you have to focus on the other, resistance levels. For example, the 1.272 extension, which is at $35, and the 1.414 extension and the 1.618, which is at $70. And what you know, the 1.618 is exactly at the previous highs right here. So maybe the third wave will only get to this level, which will still be bullish in my opinion. So if we get a 10x from where we're at right now, I'm pretty sure most people are going to be happy with that. Now, of course, some people are going to buy the top, and then the ICP will most likely fall like 50 to 80%, and then they will blame the coin instead of blaming themselves. But that happens every cycle, so it does not really surprise me. And yeah, I'm still expecting ICP to do very, very well. And I still think that from where it's at right now, it could do a 10x at least. If it doesn't, then I don't see any future for ICP in the next bull cycle, because if we don't even manage to break above this high right here, I mean, what does that tell us about ICP? Well, it tells us that every single cycle, it just likes putting in higher lows, well, actually lower highs, and that's not really bullish, because this means in the next cycle we might get another new cycle low, well, a new all-time low, and obviously that's not bullish. So we need to kind of break above this all-time high right here. And yes, I consider this to be the all-time high and not this, because this drop right here was just market manipulation in my opinion. But of course, that's just my opinion, that's just speculation. Now I want to look at the Bitcoin dominance chart, and I want to show you something on this chart. So as you can see, we got above the 0.618 resistance level again. We actually had a new cycle high. I have already talked about this in my previous ICP video, so if you want more info about this, make sure to check that out. And yeah, I mean, it could go higher, and I think it will go higher as long as we are still in QT. Now, if you don't know what that means, like I said, you should Google it. It's easier to understand it that way. Basically, when QE starts, that's when the money printing starts, and whenever the money printing starts, that's when crypto usually goes up. I mean, that's how Bitcoin works. It works against inflation. So yeah, that's all you have to know right now. As long as we, still stay in QT, then we cannot really have an altcoin season. I mean, in the previous cycle, for example, the altcoin season, yes, it did start in the post-halving year. And you have to keep in mind that in the previous cycle, it actually started at the end of March. And what you know, right now in this cycle, the Fed meeting is at the end of March. So there's a possibility that we start QE at the end of March and then we go down. And also, you have to remember that in the cycle before this, we did the exact same thing. Now, of course, here we were not in QE. We never really were in QE in 2017, and you have to be aware of that as well. So in the 2017 cycle, we were in QT, and we still had an altcoin season, and the altcoin season actually started at the end of February. So this shows us that yes, we might not get another altcoin season until QE starts, but there's also the possibility that we get another one, even if, for some reason QE does not start this year. So you have to be aware of that. And like I said, in every single cycle so far, Bitcoin dominance started dropping at the end of February or at the end of March. So I think an altcoin season is very, very close. Now, speaking of the altcoin season, I cannot talk about that without talking about Ethereum, because this is what usually triggers the altcoin season. And as you can see, we just dropped again, and we dropped to the 0.618 support level. This is the third time that we dropped to this level. So the low could be in. Maybe we are about to start reversing now. I'm not saying that we will not, but even the Ethereum chart will have a cross on the bull market support band very, very soon. And this is usually not bullish. So it's definitely going to be, interesting to see what happens next. And if we do get another low on the Ethereum chart, that could put us at like $1,800, and that's the last support level. And yeah, we don't really want to see Ethereum drop to that level, but if it does, ICP and the other altcoins will most likely go down with it, and Bitcoin dominance will most likely get about 66% until we actually start the altcoin season, and then it drops. Keep in mind, even if that happens, and even if ICP and the altcoins continue to bleed against Bitcoin, if we get to like 66% by the end of the month, or let's say by the end of next month, this means that the altcoin season will be even bigger because Bitcoin dominance will drop even more. So I think that's bullish, but that's just my opinion. Now, if you look at the Bitcoin chart, Bitcoin is doing absolutely nothing, and I mean, there's nothing to say about this. In my opinion, Bitcoin will still hit about $255,000 by the end of the cycle. I know many people are calling me crazy for that, but I think it's very possible that it happens. Now, when you compare where we were in the previous cycle to where we are at right now, in the previous cycle, Bitcoin was actually somewhere up here, and it was previous all-time highs. And people in the comments are telling me that, Bitcoin cannot get to like $255,000 because in the previous cycle, it was already near all-time highs exactly 4 years ago. However, you fail to understand that in the cycle before this, in the 2017 cycle, Bitcoin was actually down here in February of 2017, and from this point on, it went up another 1,800% by the end of the year. So, I mean, I don't know which cycle we are following right now, but to me, this cycle so far looks more similar to the 2017 cycle than the 2021 cycle. In the 2021 cycle, we had this huge pandemic drop. In 2017, we just went up for a long time, and what do you know, we are doing the exact same thing in this cycle. And keep in mind, right here in 2017, Bitcoin was at like $1,000. If people, were telling you to sell down here and you did sell down here, you would have missed out on another 1,800% return on your investments. So do what you wish, but in my opinion, Bitcoin is nowhere near close to topping. And like I've talked about many, many times in the past, the RSI on the monthly chart is not even overbought anymore. I mean, it is overbought, but it's barely at 70, and Bitcoin is at like $100,000. If we want to get to these previous insane RSI levels, Bitcoin kind of has to get to about $255,000. So yeah, many people are calling me crazy for this prediction, but I think it's actually very realistic, and we'll see who's wrong by the end of the year. Of course, I'm expecting Bitcoin to top by the end of the year, so whenever, we get that top, I still think that the altcoin season will happen at some point. And keep in mind, in 2018, the altcoin season still happened even though Bitcoin was going up. So if Bitcoin goes up, that does not mean that the altcoins cannot go up. I mean, the altcoin season usually starts when Bitcoin starts going up again. And why is that? Well, because, Bitcoin starts going up and the altcoins just start outperforming it. And that's how the altcoin season starts. So I mean, that's normal, and right now, if Bitcoin is going sideways, then the altcoins will most likely bleed against it, but once that stops, and I think it will stop very, very soon, then we can finally resume the pump that everyone has been waiting for. Now, going back to the ICP chart, ICP is currently oversold on the daily chart, and I know this does not really show us anything, it does not tell us anything, because we were oversold right here, for example, multiple times. But keep in mind, yes, we were oversold, and in the long term, we did not really do anything. However, after we got to the oversold territory here, we actually went up like 3x in a matter of a couple of months. So, I mean, this could tell us that we are about to get some kind of pump at least. Now, maybe not, who knows. But the previous time we were oversold on the daily was down here after we got to the bear market lows. So, who knows, maybe we're about to get another pump. I mean, here we got a 900% move. So, I mean, of course, that has to tell us something at least. But keep in mind, here we actually had a cross on the bull market support band, and this was a bullish cross. Right now we're about to have a bearish cross, so yeah, well, it's definitely going to be interesting to see what happens with this. And like I said, it could be the case that ICP just does absolutely nothing for like 6 weeks, and people are losing patience, I know, but this is crypto and you have to be aware of all the possibilities. If it goes sideways for about 6 weeks, I mean, the fear and greed index will most likely go to like 20, and what does that say? Well, everybody will be extremely fearful, and what should it be when everybody is extremely fearful? You should be extremely greedy, and when everybody is greedy, you should be extremely fearful. So right now, people are fearful. What should it be? Well, I'm gonna leave that up to you. And I don't have anything else for this video, so I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to check out our YouTube memberships and our Patreon if you want access to all of our charts, and if you want access to our daily Discord updates. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.